Hi, okay, this is AfroCare 101. And I say 101 because it's the basics of what I do to take care of my hair. Now, I've been natural almost 3 years now. July, towards the end of July, I think, I can't remember, was when I cut the last inch of perm out of my hair. I was a transitioner. I didn't do the big chop. Now, my methods, are not conventional by the standards that most of us have been taught. I tend to do things probably the opposite of what we've been taught. And I do that for several reasons. One, the methods that I've been taught is not giving me the result that I want, and the methods that I've been taught, it furthers the frustration. And those were the two things I really wanted to break away from and prove that our hair as is didn't have to be a frustration. It didn't have to look like a big fuzzball. And three, didn't need to be changed completely in order for it to look presentable and look beautiful. Now, like most of you, I was taught that number one, this hair needed a lot of oil. That two, detangling and managing it is a nightmare. And three, it's probably not, it's not going to grow that much. It'll grow, but you'll never have long hair. Also, there's a lot of you out there, and I think to some extent in the street, think that I do not have 4B or 4C or 4Z or whatever, that hair is. And I think it's purely based on the way it looks, because one, most of us have never even seen that hair type any longer than this. And two, we've never seen that hair type have any sort of curl pattern. It's always assumed that that's what it is. It's hair without a curl pattern. Now, all of these things is why I developed the methods that I developed. My hair looks the way it does because of the way I maintain it, because of how I manipulate it. There's just nothing else. I mean, there's nothing else I can attribute it to, because even when I was younger, my hair only got but so long, and my hair wasn't cut often, as most black people don't tend to cut their hair. I think it has everything to do with my methods, and those methods I chose to do the complete opposite. Why? Because the methods that have been established, they're all negative. It's nothing that's going to give you the hair that you think other people have that you want, but it is entirely possible to get it for yourself. Here's my go boingos. It's quite long, but I haven't done anything with it today, so it's a little dry. As you can see, it's quite thick. But this seems to be what I get pretty much no matter what I do. My hair only had certain areas that kind of looked like that. The whole head didn't look like that. So in my mind, that told me if it can happen in one area, it can happen all over. The difference was, in the very beginning, I was still manipulating my hair wrong for the look that I wanted to achieve. Okay, so there's three major steps or three major points in my method, and that's one, be sure to keep it clean. You have to clean, or in our case, because we tend to use a lot of leave-ins for our styling methods, clarify your hair. and that needs to be done 3 or 4 times a month. But don't let that dictate it either. If you have an active lifestyle and you tend to sweat or you're working out or whatever, you may need to do it a couple of times a week. But bare minimum, 3 to 4 times a month. 2, probably as important as 1, is to condition your hair every day. And I know that term is kind of out there as co-washing, but understand that co-washing is not washing. If you're only applying conditioner to your hair, that's all it's doing is conditioning and moisturizing, and maybe strengthening if you're using a protein conditioner. But using a conditioner only is only conditioning. And if you haven't used a cleanser to clean your hair is not clean. And cleanliness is important because that's how you get the gunk off of your follicles. And if your follicles are being suffocated by buildup, that will probably explain why you're maybe having dryness, because just simply applying oils over time, the actual hair itself is not getting water, so therefore it's still going to be dry. And number 2, if you're clogging up those follicles, your hair won't grow, or it'll grow much more slowly. And 3, probably the most important of all, is how to manipulate, when to manipulate, and when not to manipulate. And for this hair, that means using your fingers to do all of the above, which is probably the hardest thing to break. Well, the water's pretty hard, but also putting down the tools and relearning how to use your hands to do the job. It takes practice and it takes consistency. And with those things, over time, you will notice, number 1, you're not frustrated doing your hair's starting to look better, and your hair's starting to feel better. And I mean, really, that's what we're looking for, right? So here's AfroCare 101. Like I said, I clarify my hair, and I do that by using baking soda. Baking soda is cheap. It's, widely available, and it will not dry your hair out. I know when I first heard about it, that was my first thought. Baking soda seems like, for whatever reason that we have in our head, seems like it will be drying, and it absolutely does not do that. If it did, I wouldn't be using it for the last probably 2 years once I decided to make that switch. It's about the same ratio as what it says on the box for if you ingest it for stomach upset. So I figured that would be, at least, a mild solution and safe, and not maybe too overpowering. And then I washed thoroughly with my black soap. The towel was in my head for about 15 minutes. Wow, my hair feels so light. Whew. Feels very light and fluffy. Okay, before I do anything, I wanted to just show you something, because I didn't look in the mirror, obviously, when I took the towel off. And I don't know if you can see this, but my hair is glistening. It is literally glistening. I'm going to say I don't think there's a regular shampoo that has the ability to remove that kind of buildup successfully, which is why baking soda is perfect, because it only takes a little bit to do the job, and it's so cheap. Now, I was watching, do you know the Asian chick from How Do I Look? When they, on Style, when they do those little quick snippets of style tips, she actually said on a style tip, add I'm sorry, add baking soda to your shampoo to clarify and get the buildup off of your hair. Now that's a first. I've never heard that. I think they've been listening. I've never heard that on TV ever. Early on, I did a type 4 study to try to figure out if the characteristics of our hair had anything to do with what our hair would or wouldn't like, to kind of help streamline what products would be best suited for your hair. Now, I don't know if the study really kind of, solidified that, but what I have learned from that and over time is that it seems like your hair either likes products with glycerin or it doesn't. That's been the one thing that's been very kind of concrete. Now, my hair loves glycerin, so any products that I say my hair likes, if your hair likes products with glycerin, I think it's fair to say that your hair will probably like it too. And then those that don't tend to like glycerin tend to be able to tolerate products that have cones in them. Those are only kind of two standards I've been able to kind of find. Now, the most economical way to find out is to use these two products that are generally can be found anywhere, and they're typically $1 or less. Now, for glycerin lovers like myself, it's the VO5 Moisture Milks line. I tend to really like, or my hair likes, the passion fruit smoothie the best, but because it's so cheap, feel free to try the whole line to find out what works best for you. Now, on the flip side, what I've heard the other hair types like is Suave Naturals in coconut. Now, all I can verify is that my hair hated it. It is what it is. But the good news is these lines are so cheap, you can afford to try both of them and every combination that they have. So that'll be the easiest way to tell what category your hair falls into if you're still struggling trying to find the right conditioner for you.